first, today's talker, would you spend a week in jail just to clear some of your student debt? We're talking 10 days behind bars to wipe away 10 grand in student loans. An Acorns Money Matters poll finds 1 in 10 millennials say, yes, absolutely. Cast your vote right now at 12news.com/bullhorn or comment down below if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. The results just minutes away. Hashtag most clicked. Here are the stories piquing everyone's interest right now. Number 1 involves the self-driving Uber crash in Tempe last year. The National Transportation Safety Board is out with a 400-page report detailing the crash that killed Elaine Herzberg. The NTSB finds the car couldn't properly identify the 49-year-old on a bike. The Uber was only programmed to identify people near crosswalks, not jaywalkers. And the safety driver didn't brake until it was too late. It'll still likely be a couple of weeks until the NTSB determines if this should be a criminal case. Number 2 most clicked, impeachment inquiry. House Democrats say they'll hold the first public hearings next week. The House Intelligence Committee, which is leading the probe, says 3 State Department officials will testify. The investigation is looking into President Trump's dealings with Ukraine and his requests the country look into the Bidens, as the U.S. withheld military money from the country. And at number 3, a coyote snatches a Pomeranian in Scottsdale, and it's all caught on camera. Take a look. Incredibly, Chloe the dog is okay because of her thick coat and some quick-thinking neighbors. One of them sprinting after the coyote, so the animal drops Chloe. Her paw is a bit hurt, but she is doing okay. A few showers and claps of thunder out there this morning. Did you hear and feel it? Crystal joining us with the forecast 411 for the rest of the day.
The West Valley got in on all the action this morning, from electrical storms in Peoria to some hail plopping out of the clouds in Glendale, and to wrap it all up, double rainbow in North Phoenix. Some West Valley rain gauges picked up just over 1/10 of an inch, but officially at Phoenix Sky Harbor, only a trace. Our rain chances diminished tonight. Temperatures bottoming out at 60 in Phoenix, 48 at a minimum in Payson. Upper 30s Prescott, double 2s at the Grand Canyon. Tomorrow in Chinle, mid-60s on the cusp of 70 in Payson, mid-80s in Quartzsite, and back above average for Phoenix at 86 degrees. The 7-day forecast shows that we're going with zip, zilch, zero, nada in the way of rain starting tomorrow and throughout the rest of this extended forecast. An upward trend on the thermometer, too. We're near 90 on Friday and Saturday, and then we dial things down by the middle of next week.
Only on 12 News are you being secretly stalked. We've heard a lot about social media companies watching what you do online, but it can go beyond that, sometimes involving abusive partners spying on you. Nicole joining us with how someone might weaponize your own phone against you.
Well, just think about the last text message you sent, or the last thing you searched on Google, or all of the photos on your phone. What if someone had access to all of it? I mean, everything. Just how much control could that person have over you? Do you know if you're being secretly stalked?
Everything that was electronic started becoming sinister.
Rebecca Nelson had the feeling she was being watched.
And I would see weird glitches, weird stuff happen on my phone and computers, but I would always just kind of chalk it up to, a little glitch.
She had just got out of an abusive relationship.
I started questioning everything.
But her photos were disappearing right before her eyes. She was missing calls, and she even thought she noticed her phone recording her.
I'd wake up in the middle of the night and my phone is next to me on the bed, where I left it, but it's on, it's glowing, and the camera is recording.
She started wondering, was she really alone? When she first met her ex-boyfriend online, she thought she had found her soulmate. But after 2 years, the relationship became abusive.
It got to be the point where he would just he'd come at me. I'd either knock my head into the tile after or knock it against the wall.
She left and moved in with her mom. But days later, she learned they were being watched with their own home security cameras.
And they set up a rule that every time the motion detector sensed movement, the camera would take a 15-second video recording and email it out to somebody.
43 recordings were emailed out, and Rebecca was sure they were going to her ex.
creepy. I can't even describe it.
It's a wonderful tool for abusers.
Doreen Nicholas with the Arizona Coalition to End Domestic Violence has seen everything from GPS trackers in stuffed animals to cyber stalking.
Whether their partner has put a tracker on their vehicle, whether they've downloaded a ghost app on their phone, messed with their bank account.
The technology isn't new. Any parent can choose from dozens of apps meant to keep an eye on their children. The apps can do anything from monitor text messages to track them with GPS. But Doreen now sees that same technology used by abusive partners in her shelters on a regular basis. Then there's spyware.
Spyware on the phone has become more and more popular.
Michael McLaughlin has been a private investigator for 20 years.
If they install that particular software that I talked about, they have access to your photos, your text messages, your location. And the one that kind of really scares me is they can actually turn your phone into a listening device.
I was in such a terrorized state.
Rebecca went to the police, but...
And they'd be like, oh, you need to take that to the computer people. We're not computer people. You know, I'm gonna have to take matters into my own hands. And so I realized I need to hire a private investigator.
The PI eventually finding her ex had added himself as an admin on her iCloud account, and most likely at one time installed spyware on her phone too.
So he had top-level access. Every single text message, every single email, everything.
McLaughlin says you don't usually have to be tech savvy to protect yourself.
It seems so basic, but we start by changing all the passwords, strengthening everything.
Here's the big takeaway. If your phone is glitchy, that's a red flag. Mike says your best bet is to go to a store and do a factory reset.
But that will knock off any spyware.
Every time I go to a computer, every time I pick up my phone, those feelings are still there.
Well, in today's Pulse on Health, researchers sounding the alarm on a dangerous eating disorder. Atypical anorexia, incredibly hard to treat because people suffering from it do not look dangerously thin, even though their body is feeling the negative impacts of the disease. Researchers are urging you to take notice of any sudden weight loss in your teens, which could be a sign of anorexia or a different eating disorder. More Pulse on Health, a new study finds only children are more likely to be fat than kids with brothers and sisters. University of Oklahoma researchers say larger families tend to make healthier eating decisions because busier schedules with multiple kids force parents to be more organized and better plan meals. Time now for your Daily Juice. Actress Kerry Washington, who's famous for her role on the hit show Scandal, is sort of channeling her inner Olivia Pope and canvassing for elections after getting tons of messages via text and social media.
Olivia Pope, fix this. Olivia Pope, you have to save the day. And at first it was really funny, and I felt kind of cool to be so famous. But I've started to realize that it means we have forgotten our power, right? That people think that a pretend character on television has more power than we do. And that's not what a democracy is. Like, we all have the power to change our community.
We'll catch Kerry's chat with Ellen later on this afternoon at 3 today, only on 12 News, along with a performance from Grammy Award winner Meghan Trainor. Should be good. Well, Sesame Street is about to hit a mega milestone, you guys. It's 50th anniversary. Can you believe this? The first episode airing on PBS all the way back in 1969. Now, even though the show is turning 50, you know those Muppets haven't aged a bit. A little jealous, have to say. Sesame Street now reaches more than 150 countries in 70 languages. Celebrities from Beyonce to Michelle Obama to Adam Sandler have all made guest appearances over the years. Such a great classic. Well, time now for A to Z 60, where we celebrate the people, places, and things that make the Valley so awesome in just 60 seconds. Just in time for the holidays, the 10th annual Pie Social is coming back to Hants Park. Colleen catching up with a few of the bakers vying for your vote this weekend.
Question for you. Do you like pie? If so, the 10th annual Pie Social is going to be the place for you. We're catching up with a couple of bakers to see what they're whipping up. First up, Chef Joe at Joe Bought Coffee.
I feel like fall doesn't start until I have a slice of pie.
Mixing up a classic apple pie with blemished apples he says are perfect for pie filling.
We're using Arizona apples.
Down Roosevelt Row, Chef Margaret Sisk at the dressing room has put a twist on her grandmother's pie.
I'm gonna add the toasted pecans.
While you might see a different one at the social, one thing's for sure.
Pies, yeah, definitely bring everybody together.
Chef Lori Hassler at the Farish House ditching a standard pie crust.
We make hand-formed crostatas.
The inside, hatch apple pie.
We're trying to do classics and classic comfort food, but also incorporate a little bit of the Southwest, a little bit of Arizona.
At Hants Park, 17 restaurants will be vying for your vote.
Bring your pup, bring your blanket, and enjoy your neighbors.
Well, if you weren't hungry for pie 60 seconds ago, you probably are now. And don't worry, there's gonna be this and a whole bunch more out here on Sunday, the 10th. It all starts at 2 o'clock, and that's your A to Z 60.
All right, I'm officially salivating. Back to today's talker involving going to jail to clear away some of your student debt. A new poll finds 1 in 10 millennials would do it, despite all the questions like, am I going to a facility with murderers or taking sewing classes with Martha Stewart? Well, apparently our poll finds that 42% of you say, yeah, you do it. That's way higher than the 10% in the study. And 58% of you say, no way, not so fast. Keep on voting. We'd love to hear from you. Time now for the look ahead, the stories you'll be talking about a little later on today. New numbers show for the 7th year in a row, people are fleeing Cali to come right here to Arizona. But why? The results ahead on 12 News, first at 4. And that's your 12 at 12, the facts on everything you need to know in just 12 minutes, no commercials. We're always on anywhere, anytime on 12news.com, the 12 News app, and our socials as well. We'll see you back here again soon. Now let's check in with Destry to see what's next on Arizona Midday.
Coming up on Arizona Midday, we have your holiday style file guide.